A spokesperson for China's military stated that the People's Liberation Army had driven away the American warships, a claim China routinely makes following U.S. Freedom of Navigation operations FONOP in the region. Senior Captain Tiecheng, the People's Liberation Army Southern Theater Command spokesperson, referring to the Chinese name for Scarborough Shoal, said in a statement, "On August 13th, the U.S. Navy's destroyer USS Higgins, DDG-76, entered the territorial waters of China's Huangyan without authorization from Chinese government. The Chinese PLA Southern Theater Command sent its naval troops to track, monitor, warn, and expel the U.S. Navy vessel in accordance with laws and regulations." A spokesperson for U.S. 7th Fleet disputed this and stated, "China's statement about this mission is false. USS Higgins conducted this FONOP in accordance with international law and then continued on to conduct normal operations. The operation reflects our commitment to uphold the freedom of navigation and lawful uses of the sea as a principle. The United States is defending its right to fly, sail, and operate wherever international law allows, as USS Higgins did here. Nothing China says otherwise will deter us." In this video, Defense Updates analyzes why Chinese claim of ousting USS Higgins doesn't hold water. Before we proceed, a word on NordVPN, which is one of the most trusted and fastest VPN brand that has a no-log policy validated by Deloitte. NordVPN provides a 256-bit encrypted tunnel that protects your privacy and also enables you to access contents that are blocked based on geolocation. Its threat protection system helps you avoid phishing, scams, and malware. NordVPN application is available for all the major platforms as well as browsers. Get an exclusive NordVPN deal with massive saving by going to nordvpn.com/defense or clicking the link in the description. It's risk-free with Nord's 30-day money-back guarantee. China's claim, demarcated by the so-called 9-dash line, encompasses nearly 90% of the South China Sea. This claim is based on historical maps and records, but lacks substantial legal grounding under modern international law. Other nations, including Vietnam, the Philippines, and Malaysia, base their claims on the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, UNCLOS, which defines maritime zones such as territorial seas, exclusive economic zones, EZs, and continental shelves. Chinese claims were rejected by a permanent court of arbitration in The Hague in 2013 when the Philippines brought a case against China. China dismissed the ruling and has pursued an aggressive strategy of land reclamation and militarization of several disputed features, converting reefs into artificial islands with runways, radar systems, and missile installations. The spokesperson for the U.S. Navy said in the statement, "The unilateral imposition of any authorization or advance notification requirement for innocent passage is unlawful. By engaging in innocent passage without giving prior notification to or asking permission from any of the claimants, the United States challenged these unlawful restrictions imposed by China and Taiwan. The United States demonstrated that innocent passage is not subject to such restrictions. The Philippines does not assert any excessive maritime claims relevant to this FONOP." The FONOP and subsequent dispute over the events come 2 days after an incident 10 nautical miles, 18.5 kilometers, off of Scarborough Shoal between China and the Philippines. China Coast Guard Cutter 3104 and People's Liberation Army Navy Type 052D guided missile destroyer Gillen collided as the two ships chased and tried to blockade Philippine Coast Guard vessel BRP Suluan. USS Higgins is a Flight II Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer. Higgins, being an Arleigh Burke-class destroyer, is among the largest destroyers built for the United States Navy. It has an overall length of 155 meters and a displacement of about 8,800 tons. It has a top speed of 55 kilometers per hour or 34 miles per hour and a range of 8,100 kilometers or 5,030 miles. Arleigh Burke-class warships are designed to be capable of performing multiple missions like anti-aircraft warfare, anti-submarine warfare, and anti-surface warfare. The ships of this class are equipped with an Aegis combat system. Higgins possesses a multitude of powerful sensors like AN/SPY-1D radar, AN/SQS-53C sonar array, and AN/QR-19 tactical towed array sonar. It is also able to communicate with external sources such as satellites or aircraft. Higgins is one of the most well-armed destroyers in the world. The warship has in total 90-cell Mark 41 vertical launch system, VLS, divided into two blocks of 29 and 61 cells. These cells can be loaded with a variety of surface-to-air and surface-to-surface missiles, including Standard Missile SM series, Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles, ESSM, and Tomahawk types. It is equipped with two Mark 141 Harpoon anti-ship missile launchers and two Mark 32 triple torpedo tubes that can be used to launch Mark 46, Mark 50, and Mark 54 torpedoes. One Sikorsky MH-60R helicopter is present for anti-submarine warfare. Higgins is equipped with multiple gun systems, including a 5-inch long-range naval gun. It also has a phalanx close-in weapon system for last-ditch missile defense. U.S. Navy has been conducting FONOPs in the South China Sea regularly for several years, and this policy is being continued by the Trump administration. Chinese military knows the single Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyer is capable of inflicting huge damage. Arleigh Burke-class guided missile destroyers are proven assets whose weapon systems have matured over time and are battle-tested. If China had the guts, it could have attacked USS Higgins, or at least could have tried to block its path by putting its own warships in its way. The collision between Coast Guard cutter and People's Liberation Army Navy Type 052D destroyer show that Chinese Navy still has a long way to go. They can't even properly tackle a small Philippine boat, even with two pretty large ships. The worst humiliation is that instead of ramming the Philippine vessel, they managed to damage themselves. So challenging an American Arleigh Burke-class warship is a tall ask. The transit of USS Higgins has served as a reality check for the Chinese military. Beijing's verbal threats and fabricated claims of expelling the U.S. Navy warship are little more than face-saving theatrics, aimed primarily at domestic audiences with limited access to uncensored global news. Such narratives underscore that China still lacks the maturity expected of a major power and has considerable ground to cover before it can earn genuine respect on the world stage. This kind of theatrics is almost funny, and none takes these seriously. Xi Jinping must look into this and prevent further embarrassment.